All right, it's another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity. The Puerto Rico Curse is finally over at the Mayakoba Classic as Viktor Hovland took it this week. There's no DFS this week, but there is the QBE Shootout before we head into a little brief hiatus from the PGA Tour, so we'll go over that. We'll also do our par 3 of weird amateur golf rules. So let's get into it. I feel like the intro, when it's off the cuff, comes off a lot less like scripted. I like it.
It's just like I remember when because I went through the
I
first
couldn't
episode.
even read it.
I went through the first episode a couple weeks ago because I was trying to find a clip for the Instagram, and like you couldn't do an intro. Like
Yeah.
we had to take 7 takes of an intro in our first episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, just write it down and like
I think
go
it's
through
because
it.
I was laughing.
Honestly, I'm leaving this in the podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. All right. So yeah, I guess let's get right into it. Mayakoba Classic this weekend. It's one Brendan Todd won last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're officially back into tournaments that we've gone over before. Did we go over the QBE Shootout last year?
I'm not sure if we did.
I
Because
don't
it was
remember.
kind of a random one. So like,
Oh, the schedule's a little bit different this year. So
Yeah.
honestly, it was probably before. It was probably before we started the podcast.
maybe. I mean, it's just whatever. It's so weird. It's not an official PGA Tour tournament. It's one of those like one-off tournaments that they do. It's a fun tournament.
It's we'll get more into it later, but it's a pretty exciting like format. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna watch all 4 rounds like intently.
I think there's only 3 rounds too.
3 rounds intently. Was it start Friday? Probably.
I guess.
But before we get into that, let's talk about the Mayakoba Classic. Viktor Hovland, he broke the Puerto Rican curse. He won at the Mayakoba this weekend.
He did it pretty quick too. Like I mean, he had his first win the last Puerto Rico Open, and he breaks the curse after that. Obviously Tony Finau's still looking for a win, so you already know. In the next like real PGA Tour event that we have, I'm picking Tony Finau. Like he's gonna win.
Yeah, because the curse is over. I mean,
Yeah, he's bound to win, right?
I wish there was a Tony Finau like a tournament this year. Prop. What would you put it at?
I think Tony Finau is gonna win like the waste management this year.
I mean, he came in second last year.
I know that's
they might
why.
not do the waste management. Have you heard that?
If they do that, if they have it,
they may not do it because like the best part of the waste management is the fact that like I don't know, like 250,000 fans run through there in a weekend or something crazy like that. So they might actually not have that, which would be pretty brutal.
Whichever. That's a little bit down the road, but back to Viktor Hovland. So he had like a pretty good like I guess third and fourth day. First and second day were also pretty good, but he wasn't like near the top. He was just kind of like hanging around, kind of at the point where you're like, oh, he doesn't really have like a real shot. But then in the third round, he heated up. Just at the end there, he made a lot of like clutch shots.
Dude, his short iron game all weekend was like insane. I was seeing it on like the PGA Tour Instagram and stuff, and he was like almost dunking the ball from like whatever, like 130, 140.
There was a lot of that this week. We'll get into it in a little bit, but like the course played so soft. Like there was rain, I guess, and like just the course is a softer course in general.
Mm-hmm.
Even the greens are known to be one of the slowest like sets of greens on tour. But like everybody was just sticking shots. Like it was crazy. Like you know how like usually you get it so that you either hit it past the hole and spin it back, or you hit it in front of the hole and roll it towards. Yeah. These guys were going right at the flag, like bouncing the ball like right at the flag. It was kind of amazing to see. Almost. Yeah. Like
the ball marks on the green were crazy. Like they were just like.
Well, you could even tell like with the ball had the dirt all over it when it stuck.
Yeah.
Which obviously there's a lift place or lift clean place in play pretty much the entire week. Which you like to see. He made that really icy putt on 18 too. I mean, he makes the putt, he wins. He misses the putt, they go into a playoff. It was about 10-footer, and he just nailed it. So, and I don't know if you saw the post match or the post round like interview, and he was like, "I hate those situations. I'm usually not good in them." But I made that putt, and
Viktor Hovland's such a funny dude.
Yeah, he's like, I made that putt, and I on 16 and made a big save where I thought I lost the tournament. So, good for him.
Yeah. Shout out my roommate Jackson. He's a huge Viktor Hovland fan for whatever reason. Actually, I haven't even texted him about that. I probably should do that. But I guess that's it for the Mayakoba Classic. Puerto Rico Curse finally over. Tony Finau's due. Well, he has been due for a very
Tony
long
Finau
time.
had a good week too. There was a point yesterday where, where Tony Finau was in second and Viktor Hovland was in first. I'm like, well, like somebody's gonna break the curse. Like, I think I texted it. I was like, Finau's in second, Hovland's in first. Like, the curse is gonna end.
Oh, right. I mean, I was gonna say, yeah. Trevor was pretty mad about the Puerto Rican Curse being over. Trevor's not here this week. He's off doing.
He's just too mad about it. He didn't want to talk about
it. Yeah. Yes, that's why. Yep. It's not because he's simping.
No, not at all.
So yeah, let's move into the Monday hypothetical. G came up with this one. It's golf rules that just don't make sense, and it's also going to be kind of like a par 3. Where later in the show we're going to be doing like amateur rules that you come up with like your friends. The first one that came in mind for me was when your ball like lays to rest in a divot in a fairway. It's like I feel like you should get relief from that.
Yeah, that's the one that first came to my mind, but you wrote it down. So on a pro level, like I don't get why pros still have to like keep their own scores and like sign their scorecards. Like either you see it a couple times where guys make mistakes and they lose strokes and they like it's just stupid, and like we're in 2020. Like that whole thing could just be done like electronically. It's not like the PGA Tour is literally keeping track on their own app. Like that you don't have to go in and like sign your own scorecard and like have an official score. Like
I feel like that's just golf being traditional because you used to have to do that. And it was like you had to,
like when there's no cameras and stuff. But now there's a camera.
And when there was no technology like that. Like,
but I feel like that's just something that doesn't need to happen.
It's a good point. As a counter argument to that, well, not even an argument, but just I did scoring for like the junior tour this fall, and oh my god, it was like so bad. Every person that came in, they'd be going over with each other. They'd be like, "No, you got a 6 on the hole." I'd be like, "Ah." Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
But in a junior
like,
tournament, I don't think you're like getting like penalized for having the wrong scores.
No.
Like
they weren't cheating. They just simply didn't know.
Yeah, no, but like that happened at I was reading up. I think it happened in like maybe not a US Open, but like a major or something like a long time ago, where like someone signed a scorecard where he gave himself more strokes than he actually got. And since I think the rule is like if you give yourself like more strokes than you actually got, say you got a birdie but you said you got a par, you have to keep that score. So the guy could like pretty much it would have been a playoff if he like marked the right score, but since he marked the score more, they like the other guy won.
That's brutal. Jesus Christ.
Also, as I am scrolling through Instagram, just like looking at the comments there, shout out Brooks Koepka. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yep. Go Brooks. He's just killing it. Do you see that video he did?
Yeah. He's enjoying his time off.
He's enjoying his little hiatus here. Let's just say that.
We did get another comment on the Instagram, the long pants rule. We should be able to see Phil's calves every week. That's what the comment said. So
I don't really care, honestly. I feel like
I don't care either, but I feel like in the summer, like you're playing.
I like seeing pants.
I feel like in the summer, like when they're playing in like 100 degree, like in Arizona or something like that. Like I feel like they don't.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna stop seeing pants. Like guys will still wear pants whether there's the shorts rule and they're in like hot weather or not. I feel like some guys will still want to wear pants.
I think
you'll have the cold weather tournaments where they'll wear the pants. So I'm in on changing it.
I think down the road you'll see that rule.
I'd say within the next 3 years.
I mean, like the amateur, like you watch the USAM, I'm pretty sure they're allowed to wear shorts. So like
yeah, they are.
Like by the time all the golfers are like
this year it was cold. It was kind of cold though for the USAM.
But like by the time the golfers are all like have played in the USAM and like are that age, like I feel like shorts will be the thing.
Yeah.
That just about does that.
I was just thinking of something else right before we went into the shorts, but I can't remember. So maybe it'll come back up in the Par three.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say we can do the par three of guys we think are gonna enjoy the golf hiatus way too much.
Maybe a little bonus later.
Anyway, we can move into the betting this week. It's not really too much of betting. Like there's no DraftKings because it's the QBE Shootout and like there's 12 teams, two-man teams.
Yeah,
So
I'll go into the format real quick. So there's 12 two-man teams. There's 3 rounds. The first round is a scramble. The second round is like a modified alternate shot, kind of what you saw in the match a couple weeks ago. And then the third round is just stroke play. Or no, best ball stroke play. So,
best ball stroke play. Yeah. It's intriguing.
Yeah, it is intriguing. It's an interesting event every year. I mean, the teams there's some intriguing teams as well, interesting teams. Cameron Champ and Tony Finau. I think they're the favorites. And then you got Abraham Ancer and Matthew Wolff, which just seems like a pretty electric team when you put their games together.
Cameron Champ and Tony Finau too, though. Honestly, like those top 2 teams, yeah, they're favored by a lot. They're like plus 550 and plus 650 respectively. But I mean, like I feel like there's just way more value below. But even at plus 550 with a 12-team thing, like that's good value.
Yeah, I mean I agree. There's only 12 teams, so like make your pick. I mean, like it's just like who do you like the best? I mean, I will say somebody random kind of wins this event every year. I mean, just some of the other teams that we have out there, Harris English and Matt Kuchar. I feel like their games might complement each other pretty well. Billy Horschel, Brendan Todd, Louis Oosthuizen.
We can go through this honestly. There's not that many teams. I think Billy Horschel and Brendan Todd. I mean, you know, Brendan Todd's like the fairway hitter, so in a team format I don't know how that's going to translate. Honestly, I haven't watched the QBE Shootout too many times.
We might get Brendan Todd on like a Ryder Cup team just because of that. Like they might select him just because he hits fairways like very consistently.
Do you think he's still doing well in the Ryder Cup?
I mean, most definitely because he finished T8 this week again.
Yeah, so we just might see him in the Ryder Cup, or is it Ryder? What's next?
The Ryder Cup, I think. I think they pushed it back a year, but the Ryder Cup.
And then they moved the President's Cup back as well, I think.
I believe so.
Because I was gonna say, yeah, because they canceled it this year. I don't know.
They just moved it back.
I think they moved both back though a year.
So I mean like, that team's kind of like
but
going back to that team, Horschel and Todd, that's kind of like the shorter hitter, like accurate guys team. They both kind of have similar games.
Billy Horschel can hit it a little more than Brendan Todd, but
yeah, a little bit. But he's like.
I like the Louis and Bubba Watson team.
That team is interesting as well. I mean, Louis is a very
intriguing.
Solid golfer. I mean, Bubba obviously shapes his shots really
well.
You
got 2 polar opposite players there.
You got Mark Leishman and Cameron Smith, so the Australian team.
I don't see
Cameron
them winning,
Smith's been playing really good golf, so.
Yeah, that's true. Mark Leishman sucks though.
Right now he does, but he's usually a good ball striker.
But in a team event, you never know.
You got Sebastian Munoz and Joaquin Niemann. Niemann played really well last week. Munoz is just
playing really well in general.
He got.
I feel like Munoz will be on the next President's Cup team.
Maybe. There's a lot of good young players coming out of those random nations. So.
Venezuela.
You got Daniel Berger and Steve Stricker, which is another interesting team.
Because Steve Stricker won 2017.
Yeah.
So it's like he's a guy that in a team event I feel like you can definitely use because while he may not bomb it, like he'll probably keep it in play.
Modified alternate shot, you just take Daniel Berger's shot every time, and then if he goes OB, like think of it this way: like Steve Stricker is probably gonna hit the fairway. I mean, Daniel Berger could just try to bomb it. If he goes OB or is not a good spot, you just take the other shot, and then
Steve Stricker is gonna be having Daniel Berger yardages into which Daniel Berger is not gonna it's not like he Bryson, but definitely hits it further than Steve Stricker. So that's an interesting one as well.
You got Lanto, Griffin, and Mckenzie Hughes, which is one I feel like. That's a team that might win this event. We'll go through some of the previous winners. But like when you look at the names, like that might be the team that sneaks in and wins.
Don't sleep on Lanto and Mckenzie Hughes. I feel like Mckenzie Hughes is he Canadian?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that like is one of those like first round leader guys. And Lanto's also a guy where you see him like
he had
a T7 at like the Travelers or something.
He had a really good season last year. Shout out to the Golficity guys. Like he's boys with them now. So
is he actually?
Yeah, he like comments on all their stuff.
Oh, really? I haven't noticed that. That's funny.
They had him on the podcast, I think, a while ago. Anyway, you got Ryan Palmer and Harold Varner the third.
That's one that stuck out to me at the beginning when I first looked, because it was just like another one of those like random ones. And it's like the way we've been going through this is in like order of like favorites and not favorite.
Yeah.
So I think they're like plus 1,200.
Yeah, and then you have the defending champs, Kevin Tway and Roy Sabatini. They won last year, so and they're like second to last in the odds, which is.
And then Kevin Na and Sean O'Hare. Sean O'Hare, I couldn't tell you who that is, but he's won this event before.
He won with Steve Stricker, so
yeah.
He's won twice actually.
I have no clue who he is.
He won with Kenny Perry as well too. So
okay, so he's an old guy that probably older people listening to this podcast are like, how does Patrick not know who?
I mean, he's 38. Like, he's not that old.
Yeah, I know, but like 13 years ago, he was probably 25 and like killing on tour, and we were like 8 years old.
I guess. So. I'm trying to like pull up his like stats from like previous years. I mean, he had a T14 at the Corrales Punta Cana a couple weeks ago. So
really,
yeah.
Okay, good for him.
2020, he didn't really play that much, but yeah, I mean, he always plays in this event, and he's won it twice. So maybe a course horse. And then is that it? Kevin Na, Sean O'Hare.
Yeah. So I guess we can just tell our winner picks, because that's all we can really give.
Well, first let's go through some of the previous winners, just because these kind of like obviously you see this, there's some names like obviously Wolf and Answer, Champ and Finau, like there's names in this tournament, but you look at the past winners, you got obviously Kevin Tway and Rory Sabatini last year, like I said, Kazire and Brian Harmon the year before that, O'Hare and Stricker, English and Kuchar, Duffner and Snedeker, Day and Tringali, English and Kuchar again, O'Hare, Kenny Perry, Keegan Bradley, Brendan Steele. So like besides maybe like 2014 Day like won it, and I think that was like in his like prime. I think like somebody random kind of wins this tournament. Like it's usually not the favorite.
Right.
Which whatever, you see the defending champs at plus 2,000, so that kind of just shows you.
Yeah. So you can go first. I still haven't decided. I'm very torn, but you can go first.
So I'm gonna go with Sebastian Munoz and Joaquim Niemann at plus 800. They're like kind of in the middle of the pack there. Kind of just going with like the top tier team doesn't really win this event most of the time. Joaquim Niemann's playing some incredible golf recently. You've heard Munoz's name. He's been playing all right, not great in the last two events, but he's a good player. Also, Niemann hits the ball very far for someone his size, which you like don't see that often. So I feel like Niemann's a good player in this type of event, and I think they complement their games pretty well, and I like the value.
Yeah, I mean, I like that as soon as you said it. I'm just looking up Bubba's putting real quick. I want to see how Bubba is at putting, because isn't he like doing pretty well this year putting?
I would say he's probably doing pretty well. I mean, he hits the ball really far now, like
ooh,
on tour.
Strokes gained off the tee 7th. Strokes gained approach 8th. Jesus. Oh, he's putting terribly.
Putting not great this year, but he's doing everything else sick. I mean, what about Louis?
It won't hurt you really in this event that much. So okay, so I like the Bubba and Louis Oosthuizen at plus 750 group. That's just a very intriguing group, because you got Bubba who can bomb it and shape it. You got Louis, who's got like
the short game. I mean, he's a really good putter.
Yeah, he's a good putter, and he's just got a sick swing.
He does have a sick swing. He's a really good putter. I mean, this year, 29th in putting. I'm sure it's higher. Well, I mean, not as high, but like this year, 29th in putting, 42nd around the green. So he's got the short game. I think their games complement each other pretty well.
They really do. I like that. So that's what I'm going with.
I like it.
But
can we also just acknowledge that last week we both had top 10 picks that both finished T12? That's a bad beat. You had JT top 10. I had Answer top 10. They both finished T12.
Oh, jeez.
And Trevor won his Brendan Todd top 40 bet like really easy. Like.
So he did. So he's leading the pack right now.
I was disappointed because Answer was a 2-pointer last week, but maybe we could get an advantage on Trev this week if we picked
Doug Gim. Doug Gim was up, or not? Is it Doug Gim?
Yeah, Doug Gim.
Doug Gim was up there for a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, Connors finished T17, so not too bad.
Yeah, I
he's
had
staying
him
hot.
top. I had him top Canadian with this little Bovada experiment I'm doing. So I decided to put $10 into a Bovada account and just see if I can grow it by putting down like, $2 bets to start, see if I can get up a little bit, and maybe turn it into something good.
Okay.
I'm at $20 after 1 week.
And do we want to attempt to make a first round leader pick for this? I'm thinking first round is a scramble, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Matthew Wolf and Abraham Answer. I feel like Wolf to bomb it, Answer to like hit the second shot, and then they both have a shot at putting.
Wolf's a really pretty good putt. He can get hot. Yeah, I like that. We can do
obviously you could go Champ and Finau as well. They're both bombers. Like they both hit the ball a mile, but
let's do Wolf and Answer.
I'm gonna go with Wolf and Answer. It's plus 750. That's pretty good value.
Yeah. All right, let's do that. And then we had the brand new segment last week. It was NFL picks. We went 3-0 as a podcast. I had Saints -3.5 hit. Cheek had Lions +3.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. They won.
They won straight up. Yeah, you said you were gonna sprinkle on the money line.
Yeah.
And Trevor had. What'd Trevor have?
What did Trevor have? I don't know. Trevor had a winning bet. I don't know what
He had
it
a winning
was.
bet. That's all I remember. I know because we went over this yesterday. We went 3-0.
Yes. Good week for the NFL.
So I don't know what maybe we can get a live pick from Trevor right now. I'll text him. Jeek, you go with your pick first.
All right. So we're a golf podcast, but I'm gonna go with the Colts -2.5 against the Raiders. You have the Raiders should have lost to the Jets. Let's be honest. And they got crushed by the Falcons. So not playing their best football right now. You got the Colts coming off a couple of wins. 2.5. I like it.
Should I FaceTime Trevor into this right now? Oh, he's looking right now. So I'll go over mine.
Yeah.
He just texted.
I guarantee he picks my pick because I bet we're all on top of that.
True. Okay, so before he texts, I got Texans -1.5. Who are they playing again?
Texans are playing. Wow.
We went over this before.
We did go over this.
But I didn't write it down.
They're playing the Bears.
They're playing the Bears. Okay, yeah. So there's no way Trevor takes mine because he's a Bears fan. So I got Texans -1.5 against the Bears. Deshaun Watson, he was crying after the game. Says he's sick and tired of losing. They're 4-8. I don't think they're really backing down. Not going to tank because he wants to win. And the Bears are just absolute bums. They're on a 6-game losing streak. I don't see that ending. Even though it's at home, which is kind of are the Texans a dome team?
They are indeed.
I know, but like, are they like? Do they only play well in the dome?
I mean, they don't really play well anywhere. So
that's true. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that's a tough one because like both teams are pretty ass.
There's a lot of trap lines this week.
Yeah.
But
we're 3-0, so
we are 3-0. So maybe you want to ride us. I mean, I was really looking at like a Giants like I wanted to do it last week, but I wasn't sure what they were gonna do with Colt McCoy. I wanted to go for Giants like plus whatever, but it's like 2.5. I mean, I get the Cardinals are on a bit of a losing streak as well, but like it's only plus 2.5 of Colt McCoy. We got Trevor's pick live. Trev's going with the Vikings plus 6.5 against the Bucks.
All right, I looked at that earlier. I was thought about it. Sure, why not?
Yeah, the Bucks seem to be pretenders, I believe. So.
And the Vikings got to come off that horrible game against the Jags.
Yeah, I mean,
I had
no
Jags
fault to Kirk Cousins. He played pretty well.
I had Jags +10 on Sunday. That was pretty hype. Went to overtime.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had a Raiders and teaser -1.5, and I was very hyped when they did that to the Jets.
Did they end up winning by 2?
Something like that. I don't know, they scored on the last play of the game, pretty much.
So yeah, we can move into. I guess we're just gonna do LPGA US Open picks too.
Yeah, this
we're
is
not
kind
gonna
of.
get one from Trev.
I wouldn't listen to us on these because we're not LPGA Tour experts. We know a little bit more than maybe.
We know more than the average person.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say we're experts. But I'm just kind of like I know some of them, not all of them. So there might be someone who has some ridiculous value that I'm just like don't know about. I'm going Danielle Kane plus 1,200.
Just because you know who she is and
I
she's
know
funny.
who she is, and she's won majors before, I believe. So She's one of the top LPGA Tour golfers right now, I believe. So I'm gonna have to go with it.
I'm going Hai Jin Choi.
What are the odds on that one?
Plus 1,800.
Do you even know who that is?
No, but
I honestly kind of wanted to go with Jun Jen Lee 6. Like she literally has a 6.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, that'd be.
I think she won a couple years ago. I'm not sure. Like was in it, and I noticed that her name had a number in it, and I was like, that's sick.
Wait, can I change mine?
Yeah.
I'm doing Carlota Segunda. It's a sick name.
What are the odds on that?
Plus 1,800, same thing. So
okay.
I'm going with that.
Okay.
We'll see how we do with those.
Well, I bet you one of us wins. We can't get our damn PGA Tour picks right, but we'll get the LPGA Tour pick right.
Yeah. So let's move into the par 3 of amateur golf rules. So there's only 2 of us this week.
Maybe we'll do par 4.
Maybe we'll see what we can come up with. So I'm gonna go first, and it's the gallery rule.
Okay.
It's like sometimes, like it's obviously you never really know. Like so, basically, it's if you could have found a ball that you hit. If there was a gallery, because like sometimes you hit it out there and you just don't know where it is. Maybe it's under a leaf. If you could have found it with a gallery, which there are no galleries anymore with COVID, I guess. Bryson lost his ball at the Masters. You get to drop it with no penalty. But this can be abused if you like slice one OB and you're like, I don't know. Like
I think I saw it. Like
yeah, like 30 yards deep into the neighbor's house. But yeah, so that's the first one I'm gonna go with.
Okay. I'm gonna go with one that is like people probably don't even know is a rule, and that's the advice rule. Like we're on a par 3. Say you hit, and like I'm like, oh, what club did you hit? And
you
say,
can't do that.
I hit a 9, and I'll be like, okay, that means I'm gonna hit like a pitching wedge or a 9. One of those types of
Yeah, I guess you can't do that on the tour.
You can't do that at all on the tour, which is
or in just competitive golf at all.
Right. So I'm sure people don't even know that's like a rule, but
yeah, you can't technically do it. So yeah,
take the advice. You get to see what clubs to hit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Friends. So.
I'm just gonna go simple here. Just marking your ball. Like sometimes you just don't have a marker. You just pick it up, clean it off, put it back down where it was.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that in like the DJ like TaylorMade match, whatever it was, like a while ago, where DJ literally just was marking with a tee, or like he threw his mark.
I did that. I honestly I picked that up from him. I started doing that.
I actually as well started doing that. Just
throwing my
mark in a random spot.
Not like a random spot, but like
kind of
it might be like a couple inches off. I just like we were playing the other day. I just threw it down next to the ball.
But even when I'm like setting up a line and stuff like that, like sometimes I just pick up my mark and like set the line like without a mark. Like
yeah, same. Like, I mean, there's no one's gonna kill you.
There's no reason. That. Yeah. Okay, what I'm gonna go with is like you kind of eliminate out of bounds sometimes. Like, if you're playing at like a busy golf course and like you hit one out of bounds like pretty easily, like it's a white stake, like definitely out of bounds, like kind of just like you don't want to like hit another off the tee and like potentially hit it out of bounds again, or like I don't know, take too much time on the tee and stuff like that. So you kind of just play it as a lateral, you drop where it went out.
I like that. Sometimes you're just like, okay, it's not that deep. Like I'm just gonna go drop at, like the point of like lateral point of entry.
You pretty much play a white stake as a red stake.
Yeah,
like it's just like
unless you're having like a heated like match, like like for money.
But even like sometimes that it's like
even sometimes
just go drop it. Like you're probably just gonna hit it out of bounds again. Like sometimes you have those holes where that like, oh, I'm just gonna hit this out of bounds.
Unless you're coming down the stretch on like the 16th, like, and you're in a match, like if it's like the 3rd or 4th hole, 7th hole, like who cares?
Especially if you're walking, you didn't even know it went out of bounds, and then like you can't just like walk back to the tee. Like
you'll never make someone.
Like I actually don't even like this like on the PGA Tour where like Bryson hits one that like kind of went out of bounds, but like they don't really know that it went out of bounds, and like he goes down there and he's looking for it, and he's like, oh, I think it went out of bounds, and he has to like hop in a car and go back and just like hit another one out of bounds. So everything's a lateral when like a lot of the times you play. So I like that rule.
I'm kind of stuck. I guess I brought it up earlier with the divot. Like if you're in a divot, like again, in the middle of the fairway, and you're an amateur golfer, and you're not like playing for money or like very competitive, just take it out of the divot. Like who cares?
Yeah, I just like on top of that, like even like just kind of like winter golf rules, like you hit your ball and like you're in like a weird like little patch.
Yeah.
That's just like dirt and there's no grass. You kind of just like move your ball, play it up a little bit. Or if you're like on route, like even if you're on like I know in the PGA Tour, if you hit your ball on the like roots of a tree, you got to hit it. Like sucks, but like you move it out of the way of roots, take out all loose like stuff that's underneath your ball and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like these are all just like, hey, chill, don't be a rules official on the course with your buddies.
I mean, like if you really want to get into it, like it could be like equipment like that's illegal.
Yeah, I was gonna say like having an extra club.
Yeah, you have like extra clubs, or you have like a chipper that I think might be illegal, or like a super long driver or whatever it is, like or the always straight golf ball that's like illegal or whatever. Pretty much all the Rick Shields like gimmicks that he does like test out. Like if you're playing like by yourself, take every advantage you could get.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if they don't actually work.
Yeah. Other than that, do you have any others?
Like order that you hit off the tee and stuff like that. Like
True.
Order you hit off the tee. Like that.
Well, basically, just like this isn't even like amateur golf rules. It's just like rules we just don't follow.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I'm ready golf. Like, just don't like if I'm ready to hit, I'm gonna go hit. If you need to go like do something or like adjust something or tie your shoe, like I'll just hit. You know.
It's like one of my pet peeves, low-key. I know people are like kidding when they do it, but like you've been doing ready golf the whole round and like somebody made a birdie on the hole and you're still gonna go first or whatever, even though you made a bogey. They're like, do you have, I didn't know you had the tee. You're just like, dude, shut up. Actually go die.
Yeah. Anything
I don't know. Other than that, I mean, if you seem to be like you have like a lot of ideas for this.
I'm just looking on like websites and Google.
Oh, really? Okay, so I didn't go to that extent.
I'm just like I've been on like 4 different websites already, just looking.
I was gonna say you're an encyclopedia of these damn rules.
I mean, like I had the first like 3 on the top of my head.
Yeah.
Now I'm like the one. Have you ever like hit like a little? It usually happens on a chip, where you chip the ball and you like double hit it. Like,
yeah.
Hit it on the way
on
up.
tour, is that
apparently that's a penalty. Like you get a like you just 2 strokes because you hit it twice.
No, that's just like you laugh that off, and it probably didn't end up that good anyway.
Yeah,
so.
but that would be 1 stroke. Mulligans, dropping procedure. You don't have to drop it from like your knee, even though sometimes
I still do it. Sometimes I still do it sometimes. But I feel like I do it most of the time.
Well, just because it's kind of funny. There's
I
nothing.
do it.
There's nothing that looks like. There's nothing that looks more athletic or more non-athletic than dropping a ball like from
your knee.
Like I that kind of looks like.
It looks like you're like a dainty like little person, just like.
Or like in other sports, it's like the pitcher hitting. Like that just doesn't like for most of the time that doesn't look like comfortable.
It's an interesting comparison, but yeah, both look uncomfortable. Like
just unnatural.
Like Andy Pettit stepping up to the plate.
Like when the other day the Browns threw a touchdown pass to an offensive lineman. Like it kind of looks like that, where the offensive lineman's trying to catch the ball. Like it just doesn't look right. But yet, like these Tiger Woods is out there dropping a ball from like knee height.
Interesting. I don't have any more. We can probably wrap it up at that point. We actually had a pretty long episode for it being QBE Shootout. This is the last
minutes.
What?
About 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is the last event until January 7th at the Century Tournament Champions.
Yeah, we got to start working on some guests. If anyone has contacts with anybody in golf and wants to forward them towards us, hit the DMs.
Hit the DMs if you have somebody that golfs, even if they're just funny and they golf. I don't know. Just have anybody on.
I mean, like for all you know, like maybe Bryson DeChambeau's cousin like follows us. Like, never know.
You know Bubby Golf?
Yeah.
The dude that's been hanging with like good and GM Golf, whatever. That dude's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, whenever the camera's on him, he goes, "How you doing?" I'm like, Do you say that every time?
Yes, he is.
I kind of want to have him on. I feel like that's attainable.
Yeah,
and I just want to hear. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? And he goes, hey, how you doing?
I mean, we'll work something up for the next couple of weeks. I think we need to have some guests with
we do.
Don't Know Golf.
And if we don't, then we'll definitely come at you with something interesting. Like it's gonna be wacky. You remember? I mean,
we went through quarantine and we
if
barely
you've been
had guests
with us from the start, or at least since March or whatever, like you've seen some weird episodes of us talking about some really random golf things.
I mean, we could go on for like an hour and a half too. So
we're good at going on for an hour and a half about absolutely nothing. So
it's a good talent to have.
So let's wrap it up. Last tournament of the year, if you want to call it a tournament, more like just like an event. And then we'll see you next week, hopefully with a guest or at least some sort of wacky segment.